Hey guys, in today's handover tutorial video, we're going to be running you through water, how to get it, how to use it, how to utilize it to the best of its ability, and the difference between pump and mains. So first and foremost, before we get wet, we're going to plug him in. The brass fitting as to where the hose clicks onto is your mains pressure water. Normally with the Crusaders as well, you'll have a little spider cap here. That will symbolize, keeping spiders out. And obviously you've got your mains pressure hooked up, hopefully with a better hose fitting than mine because she's dripping all over the joint. So today we're going to be running you through the water filling sequence, how to fill up water, how to utilize the pump and your sort of main outdoor water area. On the Excalibur models, cross-country models, and some of the CRVs, as well as optioned up accessory models on the Crusaders, there's a thing called mains pressure water fillers. Mains pressure water fillers can be identified on the Caravan by these two valves. This gentleman here has a third valve tucked under here. That's for another pump or a separate tank for filtered drinking water only, but most Caravans will just come with two. It'll be 1, 2. Right, so these run directly from here into the water tank underneath the Caravan, and it fills the water tank up. That is the only reason that these taps exist, is to essentially allow water to go from here into the water tank. So when we turn him on, water is going to start coming out of the overflow, which is located at the back of the tank, sometimes located forward of the tank, and the water pump is notably turning on and running. The reason why the water pump is turning on and running is because we've left our water pump on inside the Caravan. But we obviously wouldn't be using our water pump because we're at a Caravan park. This is Caravan park plumbing, so we hook, or house plumbing of course. You hook up your mains pressure water, you would turn your pump off. The pump would remain off. So what we're going to do is I'm going to jump inside the van, I'm going to turn my water pump off, jump on out, and I'll be able to show you the difference with what it should sound like. So, welcome back. Now that we've turned our water pump off, we're going to run you through what it should sound like. So if we turn the mains filler on, it is simply just going to run the water line in, and then you're going to start seeing water, once full, start to come from the clear breather pipes. The clear breather pipes under this one are just like here, and that will be coming out with water once completely full underneath the Caravan. Some of the times, water will come from your actual filler, so it'll run down the side here, or on some of the earlier 2022, 21, 2019, all of that, you'll have your clear pipe coming here on the side of the van rather than underneath. But of course, things change, modify, and otherwise, so this time it's underneath the van. So, we don't need to fill up our water tanks. So, when would you turn these taps on? Well, great question, and I'm so glad you asked. So, why you would turn these on is if you're at a Caravan park for 7 days, right? You're not using your water tanks, you're not using your water pump. Makes perfect sense, right? We're just using mains pressure, we're using mains power, 240 in. We're not going to be using pump, we're not going to be using water tanks. But let's say you need to fill up your water tanks because for the next 7 days after your Caravan park trip, you're going to go for a free camp trip. So you need water. So what you do is you go, all right, Dale, before we leave, I'm going to fill the water tanks. Fantastic, great. Mains pressure in, turn the valve, water goes in, and once full, it will start expelling water out onto the floor. Or alternatively, as mentioned, you'll have a bit of water coming from the actual filler itself, like so. So we'll turn him off. The other method of filling the water tanks, obviously on the Musketeers, CRVs, Chameleons, that sort of stuff, is we use a mains pressure water filler. So what you would do essentially is you would cut this water, like so, just for the purpose of this video, pop him off, you would get your hose, put him up in here, and fill him up. Now, one little device that we recommend is a essentially a water filler hose, which is a device that goes from here and then goes into the water tanks that you can slip down the neck of the tank in order to be able to fill it up rather than try and, deal with a large output hose like this. So I'll get mine and I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like. So this is our mains filler water hose, a few different versions of it. You can buy ones online for around about $40 with an actual control valve so you can turn it on and off. The idea is though, the pipe goes deep into the actual water tank. So whoop, like that, nice and easy, and then click him on, walk away. Once the water again starts coming out of this area here, or the actual overflow, which is the clear pipe underneath the van, it will actually symbolize that the tank's full. You can obviously check the water tank gauges inside on your particular Caravan, whatever they may be, push button, Aspro, BM300, BT, whatever it may be, you'll be able to see that the water tanks are full. So this is that filling method for your water tanks. Once it's done, I'd suggest cutting the pipe just so that way you don't get splashed, pull it out, and then get your water filler cap, put it back inside and turn. Key to lock, easy as pie. So that is our mains pressure water filler. So these taps otherwise remain completely off. If you leave it slightly on, or even just a little bit on, so that's off, on like that, this pump, when you're free camping, will non-stop run. It'll go brrr, 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 like that. Very annoying. And you'll be thinking, I can't get any water because this thing's literally sucking air from this thing here. So when you're done filling your tanks, turn it off. Check that they're definitely off. That's all we need you to do. And that will allow you to make sure you're not getting random amounts of air into your system. A lot of people ring us all the time. They're leaving these on. They go, oh, I've got everything on. It's like, no, no, no. This remains off until you want it on to fill the water tanks. Otherwise, completely off. Now, the pump. This pump's special. Again, we've got 3 here. We've got 3 here. So, obviously, this has 3 tanks. So, it's got 3 tanks on this caravan. So, you would, or you can, leave all 3 on, or you can turn 2 off and use just 1. When it's running vertical with the pipe, it means that it's on and working and sucking from that tank. It'd be fantastic if we get to the point in time where we can actually label the tanks at manufacturing level. However, this job's yours. You need to be able to go through and figure out which tank's which. So forward, middle, back, or back, middle, forward, or whatever it may be. You would watch your tank. So for the first few trips, leave them both off, leave 1 on. If you've got only 2, leave 1 on, turn 1 off. Then what you'll do is you'll be able to see just that 1 tank reduce in volume of your 95 litres, and you'll be able to say, well, this tank here is my front tank. This tank here is my back tank, because I can watch them suck from different areas. On some of the Crusader models, you don't have any taps. On the Life Changer Musketeer, that sort of stuff, it will have the itemized switching, allowing you to drink and use from different water sources from any given time. Most manufacturers don't offer you this. We at Crusader do, in-house plumbers, so we go that extra mile. So it allows you to suck from different tanks at different points, or you can just leave them all on if you don't care. But to give you an idea, ball water here, fresh water here. I want to shower in ball water, drinking water's off, great. All right, now I need to drink this water, turn this water off. You can pick and choose from what areas you want to utilize and actually obtain your water source from. Before we love you and leave you, we're going to show you the water pump functionality inside, and we're going to show you what these taps do. Again, this one's a bit different because it's got another tap on the outside, but this is your empty point for your tank. So if you want to dump just 1 water tank, each tank has an isolation valve that allows you to dump each tank. And obviously throughout the outside of the caravan, you have your individual water fillers for open and close as we go through. I'll meet you inside and I'll show you how to turn this guy on. So for the last part of the tutorial, we're going to tell you about your water pump, when to use it, how to use it, when not to. So, much like an analogy of being at a caravan park, you wouldn't use a generator when you're at a caravan park because you're hooked up to mains power. Same thing with your water pump. If you're at a caravan park, you're not using it. Pretty much no circumstance where you'd use it unless there was some relatively weird sort of thing going on with an appliance. But 9 times out of 10, that's not the case. So we're just using our water pump when we are free camping, when we don't have mains pressure plugged into the water pump or water tanks or water inlet on the side of the caravan. Water pump is for free camp only. If you use the water pump without water in the system, you will probably burn that pump out very quickly and result in an unwarrantable repair and something that you'll be out of pocket for. You need to make sure you use the water pump only when you have water in the system. So how do we make sure that's the case? Well, up here we've got 3 full water tanks and a grey water tank. Our water pump is off, so it would make sense to go, well, we've got tanks full, let's turn our water pump on. And it'll run and it'll stop. The water pump only runs in the caravan when there's somewhere in the caravan that needs water. The way I picture it in my head is water pump's there, yells out to its friends, the hot water service, the water lines, the kitchen sink, the shower. Anyone need any water? Yep. It's the water pump sound. And it then puts water everywhere it needs to go. That's pretty much it. If the water pump is running and there's not a visible leak, you haven't left the mains water filler on, there's probably something else going on, you turn it off after 5 minutes worth of use. Do not use the water pump without water in the line. Last but not least, it is really important that those valves on the outside of the caravan remain off where the mains pressure water filler is, otherwise it will just continuously suck air. It's very, very important. It is a common thing that people do and something that you'll just double check on your van. If you haven't optioned it up within the Musketeers or Life Changers, that's currently not a standard item, chances are you're just filling from the side of the van. So now we're going to show you the grey water tank operation. It's something that baffles most people. The grey water tank in the typical installs of the Crusader runs from the waistlines directly into the grey water tank and then runs out. So we have an closed option on the grey water tank, identifiable with a PVC wrap, as well as the output 25mm pipe. If you turn this, water comes out and gets us nice and wet. It's fantastic. Most people would use a silage hose. You would put it on so it's taut like a toiger. Then you would open him up and allow the water to flow through it. Sometimes what happens is these can form an airlock in the actual grey water unit because they're just too large or they're not stretched out enough. So make sure you're stretching it out and you're getting a nice drop to allow the water to flow, and then out. If it comes up and down like a wave, it's not a great time. So silage hose, bang on there, and make sure he's nice and cool. You can get some awesome cam lock systems with these, but this will do just fine. So grey water tank, 95 litres, all the waste runs into it like so. There exists a thing called a bypass valve. It's something that people do. They put another 1 or 2 of these to actually bypass the grey water tank when they're getting their van manufactured. Not an essential, but something that people do ask for. Now, the grey water tank, everything goes through it. So this here is a cleaning and breather valve. So you get your hose, you plug it up, and then this will allow you to actually clean the grey water tank out. So you don't block it. If you block it, you don't have a breather valve, unless you're cleaning it, of course. So you put the hose there, you fill it up with water. Once the grey water's full, you then go empty, and then it will empty the grey water tank out. What we suggest is getting some cleaning solvent or something that's like a biodegradable breakdown. It can even be bicarb. It can be anything, bicarb and vinegar, whatever breaks stuff down. Not harsh chemicals, obviously it's not ideal, but you can get some really eco-friendly sort of Drano, if you will. Put it down your kitchen sink, stainless steel, straight in there, wash it down into the grey water tank, and then you fill it up with this capped off. You fill it up with water, the water tank goes up with 2 people, right? Someone on the outside, someone on the inside. As the grey water tank's approaching full, you go, hey, stop. You'd unplug this. You would then open this and allow the water to come out. If you have a bit of time up your sleeve, leave the Drano chemical in there and it will preserve sort of the cleaning time, get all the bacteria off the water sender and everything like that. The more it's in there, the better it's going to be for the cleaning purposes of the grey water tank. If you overfill it and you walk away, you will flood your caravan. You will probably blow up the grey water tank. It will not be a great time. You don't do this when you're in a rush. You do it when you have 15, 20 minutes spare. You've got someone on standby helping you out. It is not child's play. You can do some really serious damage to the plumbing work, or extensive water can get into your caravan, which is never a good time for sort of sight, smell and feeling. We hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. We've got a heap more coming. Stick around, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one, guys. Carry on.